Okay, there we go.
All right. Okay, so we'll kick it off with Joyce reading minutes from the last meeting.
Okay. The Bridgewater Cultural Council, September 9th, 2025 meeting was called to order by President Theo Simeone at 6:02 p.m. In attendance were President Theo Simeone, Nora Todd, Haley Basowich, and Joyce Pitta. Joyce Pitta's secretary read the minutes from the May 6, 2025 meeting. President Simeone moved that the minutes be approved and was seconded by Nora Todd. Excuse me. A discussion was held on the 2026 guidelines. President Simeone suggested keeping the 2025 guidelines, but maybe tweaking them slightly. Nora Ta suggested making the guidelines clearer on what is needed to file a grant. President Simeone suggested we might consider not granting to the same applicant over and over again. Nora Ta said contacting Cheyenne at Mass Cultural Council on how to tweak so more organizations can apply. It was decided we would read the 2025 guidelines and email any suggestions for changes to President Simeone, and we would vote on any suggestions at our next meeting. President Simeone updated our member list and entered himself as chair. Our funding is to remain the same as last year. Ashley Pryor sent President Simeone an email with a list of approved grants and highlighting and highlighting the ones that have been paid. Nora Ta suggested putting on Facebook information about grant deadlines, and Haley Basowich said notices could also be put up at different places around town. After setting our next meeting for Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m., the meeting was adjourned at 6:45 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Joyce Pitta, Secretary.
All right, I motion to approve the minutes.
I have a question, Nora, sorry.
Sure.
Just on the announcement that I got, the email about this, the agenda, was it really August 8th we last met?
Prior to the last time that we met, I believe it was.
August,
Okay,
I,
the agenda
I think
says that,
August 8th.
yeah,
I think August 8th was that subcommittee between me and Theo.
Oh, yeah.
it's just saying that we should be aware that the agenda states that the meetings were for the 8th of August.
Oh, I thought it said May 6th on the official, but I
I'm
can
looking
double
at,
check.
yeah, just on the, the email where it says, that was sent to us. And it says call to order approval of minutes, and then it's August 8th, 2025. So
Okay.
we just need to know that we said that and we put that on the agenda, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think, as long as we're all aware that that's what it said to the agenda for people. That
Okay,
we're,
I didn't
if
check
any
the
had any question.
email that
I know,
closely.
I know, I'm not worried about it, but just so we can be copacetic and all that.
Glad you're keeping us honest, Nora.
And since no, I'll wait till we get to the payments that were made. So go ahead.
Okay,
But anyways,
minutes haven't been seconded.
yeah, I will second them if everyone is in full agreement that we are not discussing the meetings from August 8th.
Yes. I agree with that.
Done.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Joyce, let's just make sure that that's captured there, and then I guess we can move on. So news, emailed Cheyenne, and she said that the date has come and gone for us to create guidelines. The guidelines cannot be reopened. So basically, we are locked into our 2025 guidelines, which I don't think was problematic for anybody, but just for the next time around for us to remember, that deadline is a hard deadline and it closes. So if we want to make changes to the guidelines for 2027, we have to do that by, I believe it's in August next year. So just food for thought. Let me pull up our agenda for this meeting here. Okay. So, approval of the fiscal year financial grants or tracking. So we had 27, 13 have been signed and sent. So far, there's 14 outstanding now that we have yet to receive the paperwork for. When those come in, Joyce and I have been keeping on top of signing off on those. So hopefully clear those as fast as we can. The second new business was the fiscal 26 guidelines.
Excuse me. Hi, it's Nora again. I'm sorry. I just noticed, and I might be wrong because I'm looking down the list, the July 4th brass band concert preceding the parade for
Mhm.
$680. I believe Mr. Palmieri sent that in to us. I think that was one that I got, and then I checked with you, and you had gotten it. So
Yes, I did sign off on that. I
okay,
believe Josh had that one in his office and it was signed off on. So that one should be going through.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so like I said, 26 guidelines were locked into the old 25 guidelines. So that is something that we can't really act on any longer. The last thing is about cultural council outreach. So kind of two-pronged. I would like to, and I don't know if we can use kind of the funds that we have, but I was hoping that maybe we could pull some funds to I know Nora, you said we have that billboard or banner, but maybe there's a time that we can post up sort of in the square somewhere or near Restoration Coffee or someplace where we can get our message out that we'd like to have more people on the Bridgewater Cultural Council, and then also going around to the businesses on the square and talking about Halloween decorations and how we'd like to have that sort of competition for the Halloween decorations go this year. Maybe starting in October.
It might be a little bit late for businesses to get their act together to get something else there by October 1st.
Right. So like I said, it's going to be like kind of fast and furious. Does anyone have the time to go around to those businesses on the square and kind of let them know?
I do.
Okay. So then Nora, can I we'll say that you have an action to go around and let everyone know that we'll do that, and then I will work with Josh to get the funds to I assume it'll probably be something similar to a request in that we'll have the paperwork for them to fill out when they win, and it'll basically be like a request to we'll work it with them. But I think it's something that Josh and I can work up. So
Hey,
I'll do the
Theo,
Yeah.
can I just jump in real quick?
Sure.
With that, what were you, sorry, what were you guys planning on doing? Like, like for the monetary value of it?
So we had, I think, a little over $1,000 left in last year's budget.
Yeah.
If we could do 1,000, that'd be great. If it's only like a few hundred, I'm fine with that. But it just something to encourage the businesses on the square to kind of get and in the general shopping area to get them to, you know, deck themselves out for Halloween and make it, you know, look nice around town.
Okay.
It would
So what I would ask is that you guys make a motion and vote that
okay.
for it because it'd fall under the outreach. And then I need you to send me an email because I need to touch base with Cheyenne and our finance department on how we'd go about handling that. But I do need to, you would need to have it voted by the cultural council.
Okay. Okay.
One thing is, I would think we have at least $300 because the library cut their grant request by $300.
Yeah, I think the money is there, Joyce. I think what Josh was saying was that we need to have this be an official vote by the council, and then Josh and I will work together to figure out what the paperwork situation for that is. So I guess if we don't have anything else that anyone wants to talk about, I'll open it to everybody, and then if there's no other new business, we can take a vote on having a Halloween decoration competition for the square.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah,
So does anybody does anybody have anything new that they'd like to bring up?
the only thing I was wondering about is we had talked about setting, I know it's the guidelines, but assigning a certain number to the guidelines we thought were most important, so that when we're looking at the grants, we can number the ones we think are most important, and that way slowly eliminate the ones that fall below a certain percentage or that most people don't want, rather than do yes and no across the board.
Right. I think that ends up becoming a little bit of a moot point because we're keeping the previous guidelines. So there's nothing that we can outwardly like change on the guidelines to make that there. If we want to go ahead and, you know, sort of assign our own internal numbering, we can discuss that.
That's what I meant, was an
Okay,
internal, something that we, I mean, we have the guidelines. Can we
Right.
say, like, number one, the first guideline we have is worth 5 points, and then go down 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. And then so what that'll look like is when we have the all the new requests in, I'll create a an Excel file like I did last year, and I will include that scoring calculator in there. I'll
Because
try to make it easy for everybody.
I think Nora brought that up, that they used to do that.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm understanding it correctly, so I'll just shortly, because you know how I can be. What Matt's over there grinning. He's like, oh my God. So what we used to do is, because we were dealing with paper, I would take all the grant applications and print out everyone, and then put numbers, assign a number on each grant application, you know, one through whatever. And then everybody could go through the grants and then decide their yes pile, their no pile, their in between pile. And then we would take one run through them to see if everybody was designated with a no, and we would remove those out of contention. Then we would go back and visit the yeses and the, you know, kind of on the fences deal. So we would reduce the amount of grants that we were going through, because there were a lot that were hard nosed right off the bat. And then that also gave us the opportunity that if we could see something that someone had left out of a grant application, that we had seen there before, and we knew that that was not really what they meant to do, we could send out an email and just ask them, say we had a couple of questions, so they could then come back to us before we had the final meeting. So we did a little of that to make sure that we were aware exactly of what people were looking for, rather than doing it later, once we came to the time when we were going through consideration. And that just helped, I think, to make it easier for people to go through the stack. And then, you know, I'll be honest, for me, it was much easier when you had a piece of paper to just flip to page 3 of the grant application and you get your answer. Then, you know, everybody's trying to switch around to find their method. But that's just the way we organized it, the, you know, yeses, maybes, and hard no's. And then we would assign the hard no right then and there. So, you know, they were asking for too much money. They were in New York. They were the guy that had the boat coming from somewhere up the Cape to Rhode Island, you know, that kind of stuff. So those we were easily done. And now I will end my tale. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know that we will
No.
get back to the halcyon days of meeting in
Yes,
person and
please don't.
printing things out.
Please don't.
I will I will try to do my best with the next upload of, you know, the I'll try to make it a little bit easier. I know some tricks in Excel that will just be make it easy for people to have a drop down to say yes, no, maybe on there, or and or include a point scale on there. So I'll try to make that easy for everyone. I'll take the task to make that Excel sheet when the time comes.
Okay, I have one more
Sure.
thing to add in. Sorry. I have a little list. Don't worry, it's the last item on the
No, it's
list.
okay.
Is that when we are going to go in and review the actual applications in the book, in the panel book, we should be doing that kind of like as they come in, rather than waiting till the week before the meeting and trying to do them all. So if we can begin going through it, then we can discover little things that people might have left out. Because part of the responsibility of the council is to also not just do a hard yes or no, but to also discover if someone might have needed a little help with their grant. So they didn't include information that we would make a determination on.
Right.
So if we could, you know, if any of us have any extra time to go in and just take a peek at a couple and just let the others know, if they send an email out and say, hey, I discovered these 3 things, and maybe they could send the email out to that person and say, you know, hey, you want to check this out or something. And then we won't be on the day, like this past year we did that. We had stuff that
Right.
we were still talking about, and it was, you know,
Right.
learning,
So
growing pains. So
yeah. So I have actually been going through. I've been keeping an eye. Like every week, I'll log in and check the submitted and drafts. And so far,
Mhm.
we do have 3 submitted.
Yep.
And I did notice on a few of these, there's, you know, like you said, information that would probably be a little bit better. Not to pick on anybody, but the community floral expressions They're asking for a pretty large sum,
Yeah.
which I can understand. I don't think we saw this one last year. It does seem interesting to me. I do notice that they don't have a space or venue hashed out for that, and
Okay.
I would like to encourage them to be a little bit more, forward thinking in that.
Right.
So I was planning on sending out an email on my own, but nothing stops anyone from going to the website. So I
Mhm.
guess I'll kind of echo what you're saying there and say maybe, if everyone can, please go, like I said, at least once a week, just go check
Mhm.
the Mass Cultural Council site and see what's been submitted.
Sure.
We can send emails to those people, and I think it probably is better if we do coordinate with everyone saying, hey, I've noticed this. I'd like to send an email at our meetings. I'm going to try to make the meetings more regular for
Mhm.
us so that we can do that. Um,
Mhm.
but I think that's a great idea, Nora. That's
Okay. Thank you.
basically what I was saying.
Mm.
Um, I do have one more thing. Matt, on the Cultural Council contacts, I don't actually see your name appear on the website. And I don't know if that's an error on their part or if
It
there's
is.
something.
Yeah, this was so long ago. I remember I emailed, so I'll look into that. I know it is
Okay.
on there that end, but I'll have to revisit it.
Okay. Yeah. I'd recommend. Do you have Cheyenne's email?
I should. I'm sure I do.
Okay.
But just
Uh,
can you
if
rattle
you.
it off right now?
Yes.
And she sent us out. I got 2 emails. I think
Okay,
just
I
that.
should be able to find it.
Yeah, she sent us a couple of procedural ones, and so that's
You
what
know
I.
what? Now that I think of it, it was her that I contacted
Yeah.
about the name not being on there, and I'll look into it.
Okay. Yeah. I can, if you want, I can send you her email over again. Just let me know. I could even text it to you if you want. But yeah, it's just not showing you on there. And I wanted to make sure that you're captured on there. And I think the only other thing that I noticed was that I think Haley's information for there is still not set up properly, but that's something that she'll have to do. I can't do that for her. So,
Mhm.
um, okay. So if there's no other new items, I would motion that we vote on creating a friendly competition style decoration event for the square
Mhm.
to begin in October and to end Halloween. And we'll figure out the logistics of the judging and the money over the course of the next week or so. But to just make sure that we have the approval of the council to do this, I'd like to propose we vote on that. So
Mhm. Are you asking for a vote
I
now?
think I need a second to get the vote
I'll
going.
second. I'll
Okay.
second.
All right. So again, voting on whether or not we create a town square friendly Halloween decoration competition. All in favor?
Yes,
I.
I'm in favor. Okay, so that's 4 with Haley is absent. I would say that motion passes. Josh, you and I are gonna have some work to figure out the finances on that.
Yep. Yep. And we might
Okay.
need to do a vote to actually allocate the exact amount of money, but this will let us at least get it over to Cheyenne and talk to the finance department for it.
Mhm.
Um, I do have to go start another meeting, so I'm going
Okay.
to head out. But was there anything else you guys needed?
No, I think
No.
we're actually getting to the close of this meeting. So,
Yeah.
If there's no other business, I motion we close the meeting for the night.
Second,
Second, third, fourth.
fourth.
Yes.
All right. I think that's unanimous decision to close the meeting. I won't hold you guys any longer. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I will set things up with Josh and try to get a meeting set up for next week.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye,
Have a good
everybody.
night.
Bye.